Hi, I'm Barry Ostrowski. At RWJ Barnabas Health, we believe that everyone needs to be informed about the important healthcare issues affecting their lives. That's why we're proud to support the important educational programming produced by the CAUCUS Educational Corporation.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJPAC has been provided by TD Bank, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, Josh S. Weston, the Fidelco Group, RWJ Barnabas Health, and by Verizon. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by Commerce Magazine.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No. People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Welcome to NJPAC. I'm Steve Adubato. It is our honor to welcome. We had him over at WNET Studios over at Lincoln Center. It is an honor to have him here in Newark. Brandon Dirden, who is actor, director. We had him last time with us talking about All the Way, the extraordinary play with, what was the guy again?
Bryan Cranston, that's right, Bryan.
You played Dr. Martin Luther King in that, a very special play, but we're talking this time about Jitney, right?
That's right.
Describe Jitney, which is going to be opening up real soon at the December 28th. This will be seen before that and after the Samuel Friedman Theater on 47th Street. Describe it.
So Jitney is one of the plays in the August Wilson Century Cycle. August wrote 10 plays to chronicle each decade of the African-American experience in the 20th century. And this one takes place in the 70s. It's actually the first play that he wrote, but it will now be the last to have its Broadway premiere. And it centers around a group of Jitney drivers, which is slang for cab drivers, or in Pittsburgh, where 9 of the 10 plays are set. And the station faces some challenges, and the men inside the station face some challenges, but it's probably one of his funnier plays. There's a dynamic between a father and a son, husband and wife, lovers, customers. So it has everything in there.
August Wilson.
Yeah.
Matters because?
He's my hero. He's one of them.
Tell folks, explain.
Google
August Wilson as we're talking.
Yeah.
We'll watch the show and do it later, but go ahead.
Well, August, what he did for me, I started 11, 12 was my first August Wilson play. I was a boy. Wow. My first professional play is Joe Turner's Come and Gone. I played the youngest man that August ever wrote. And it set me on my path. It said that you have a voice in the American theater. And other playwrights did that for a lot of people, but he was the playwright that did that for me. He said that people who looked like me, who sounded like me, who shared my background, my stories, we belonged in the theater. And if you look at Joe Turner's Come and Gone, just that one play that I started with, it has this boy who's 11, 12, and it has a man who's 80, and it has men who are in their 20s and 30s and 50s. And so he said, you have work for the rest of your life. No matter how old you are, there will be a place for you in the American theater to tell your story. And he gave us 10 plays in which to...
Why did he do that? Why did he understand? How and why did he understand the importance of that?
Well,
How brilliant is that?
Yeah, he understood it. It was in his DNA. It's his fabric. He was a poet first in Pittsburgh, and he had a great friend, Claude Purdy, who was the director, who actually was the director of Joe Turner's Come and Gone that I did as a boy in Houston, Texas. And Claude encouraged him, says, man, you got to start writing plays. And so he got August to move up to Minneapolis and start with the Playwright Center there, and Penumbra Theater produced some of his first plays. And there was, at that time, there was a void. I mean, we had the Negro Ensemble Company, started by the great Douglas Turner Ward, that had a lot of traction and really birthed the careers of a lot of great stars, including Denzel and Sam Jackson and other people. But we, at that time, the August was starting out, there really was a void on the national scale. And in August, he wanted to tackle, he wanted to take it by the horns, and he wrestled that void.
You know, as you're talking about this, I don't know why it comes to me, but we're here in Newark. Around the corner from Rutgers University in Newark, there's a powerful, important theater, Paul Robeson.
Yes.
Theater there. A lot goes on there. Paul Robeson, the name,
Yeah.
the legacy. You know, here's my point. For a lot of us, we may not understand and appreciate the significance of what you're talking about right now. Having folks, not just role models, that word gets used a lot, but people who open doors,
Yeah.
who create opportunities.
Yes.
That may have been there for others and are there for others that, you know.
Yeah. But it's also people who create opportunities while laying their own life on the line, literally, their
What does that
livelihood.
mean,
Paul
life?
Robeson was blackballed. I mean, he was.
Destroyed his career.
Yeah, oh yeah. But he says, I won't compromise. I won't
People say,
compromise.
well, you're a communist.
Yeah.
He said, well, I am who I am.
Yeah. They took away his passport.
Took away everything. Took away his livelihood.
Yeah. And, but the art that he created, yes, it showed the people that we are just as capable. We are just as smart. We are just as talented as anyone walking this earth.
That matters to you.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
The Americans, real quick, set it up. You want to see a clip, or should we set it up? Because you play the role you play.
Agent Aderholt is the role I play in The Americans. And I think the clip that we're going to see is a memo that I've just discovered, which is a bureau-wide an agent from the FBI, and says, watch our language in our reports.
Yeah, the FBI, the culture of the FBI. Let's take a look. We'll keep talking.
You see this? I have been concerned by the language in some communications that have reached my desk, in particular, comments expressing that the FBI feels. The FBI may assess, determine, consider, or claim, etc., but it is not appropriate to say that the FBI feels.
So the FBI culture.
Yeah, that's right. Which at the time is, I mean, when you see the show, it's not too many people who look like me within in the office and the culture. And so there is, I think it's particularly interesting that how specific the culture is in addressing every component. And I think it's, my character, Agent Aderholt, I love him. I love him dearly because I think he keenly understands the significance of being very careful and choosing your words correctly as to not be perceived as something or that could be misconstrued.
So let me ask you something. You come from acting in your DNA.
Yeah.
Describe the family origins in acting.
My father, Willie Dirden, he had such a passion for acting, but not just acting, the craft of acting, the science of acting, the study of acting. He never was an actor for a profession. He had 5 kids growing up in Houston, Texas, and so it just made a little bit more challenging to provide for us all. So he found himself in communications and data processing, and but he loved it, and he did some community theater. He actually did an August Wilson play. He's done a few in his time. But when he saw that I had an interest in it, my younger brother Jason Dirden, who's also a well-known actor in the New York community and now LA, he says, okay, if you guys are going to do this, you're going to study.
Very supportive.
Oh, yeah. And I liken him to Richard Williams, Venus and Serena's dad. He was like that. Oh, yeah.
Hardcore supportive?
Oh, hardcore. Yeah. And not only supportive, but critical. My father would come to a show today. He would watch an episode on TV, and he would call me up, and he would say, that was fine performance, son, but I think you had an opportunity here and here and here and here. Or he'll say, you know, this is what I really loved about what you did here and here and here.
Are you telling me in All the Way?
Oh, yeah.
When he's watching you, playing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
He's got notes.
No.
Yeah.
Tell you what you could have done better, and as well as what you did well.
He has an immense pride. You know, my father, he saw the play All the Way first when we first did it in Boston.
Right.
And after that...
Before he came to Broadway.
Oh, yeah, before he came to Broadway. And after he watched it, he says, I got a book for you to read. And so he gave me a book, Why We Can't Wait. You know, it was basically Dr. King's memory of the Selma March. And he says, you got to read this before you go on with it. And what it helped me do was provide more of a sense of urgency to what we were trying to get accomplished in the play. And so by the time we got to New York in the Broadway run, then I was now armed with this thing. Yeah.
Understanding that walking across the Pettus Bridge mattered, didn't it? Real quick, your wife,
Crystal Dickinson.
she give you notes too? Come on,
Constantly.
no. She's an actress.
Yeah, she is. So she actually probably gives the most qualified notes because she knows exactly what I'm going through, and she knows exactly when I'm BSing, and she knows exactly when I'm telling the truth.
Do you do the same thing with each other?
We try to, yeah.
And you have a child? 3?
We do. We have a son. He's 2.5. I don't know, Steve. I think the bug got him early on.
Chase,
too.
this is your little?
Chase, yeah.
You think he's got it too? You see it.
So, I think so.
You see it. You can't stop it.
You know,
he's not going to be a computer programmer.
Well, he could if he want to be. But I tell you what, if he chooses to become an actor, he probably will be the best of us all. That's the truth.
You see a gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mind if I plug again? Tell everybody that Jitney is going to previews begin December 28th at the Samuel Friedman Theater on 261.
That's right.
West 47th Street, and also The Americans
on FX Network, and I think we'll probably premiere March, I believe, season 5. We got 2 more seasons.
Get Down to Get Down.
Oh, the Get Down, Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Baz Luhrmann. It's crazy. It's about the origin of hip-hop in the late 70s, Bronx, downfall of disco era, and it is amazing. It's unlike anything you've ever seen.
You're amazing, too.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it.
Again and again.
Great stuff. Stay with us. Be right back. Right. You are terrific. By the way, real quick before I let you go, the passion for acting.
Yeah.
This is what you were meant to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Had to do this.
You know what? I've tried. I was a chemical engineer at first. I went to college at Morehouse College, studied chemical engineering, worked at Shell Oil Company every summer, and I said, if you only live once, you got to do what you love to do, and I didn't love it.
Shell's loss is our gain. Thanks. Stay with us. Be right back. Thank you.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
She's a very recognizable, talented, and beautiful face you're looking at right now. Siggy Flicker, who is a relationship expert and author of Write Your Own Fairytale, the new rules of dating and relationships and finding love on your own terms. Also a cast member of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Siggy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Can't complain. I'm healthy. I'm happy.
Where'd you get this positive attitude?
You know what? I think it's because I was born in Israel. And I think that Israeli people are different in nature because, you know, when you grow up in a small country that's smaller than the size of New Jersey, and when you finish school there, there's always that constant fear that a bomb might be blowing up behind you and always looking over your shoulder. And you're really grateful for the little things that you have in health, little things that you have in life.
Like health.
Like health,
and
like happy, like children. And, you know, everybody in Israel knows somebody who's died. It's just a way of life there. You're always, and I think that, you know, I grew up in America. I've been here since the age of 5, but I just always had that attitude of, wow, things can be so much worse. And I had a sad childhood. I didn't have the best childhood, but I was always, Siggy, it could have been worse. You have your parents, you have your brother and sister. You know, there were times when I, you know, was alone and I feared things, but when you're not so close to it and you look at it from up above, I know so many other people who are suffering far worse. So for me to complain, it wasn't going to happen.
And your book, it's fascinating. You talk about some of the keys to really having a healthier, better life.
It's not just about love between a man and a woman, a woman and a woman, or a man and a man. It's about really living your life to the fullest. And I remember being at Cherry Hill West, and people used to say, you know, I was in 9th grade, and I was always a big girl, chubby girl with a big mouth, like a Bette Midler personality.
You?
Always. Full, like always big hair, big, you know, everything about me, big boot, everything was big. And people used to say, I don't understand how Sigalit Paldiel is going to the senior prom with Scott Mitnick in 9th grade.
Why do you remember that so vividly?
That was a starting point on when I used to say, it doesn't matter what you look like. It just matters of what you feel about yourself on the inside. You got to act as if. And people used to say, I don't understand how she's going to the senior prom. At that time,
what?
Act as if you have confidence. I knew I wasn't the prettiest girl. I knew that I wasn't the homecoming queen. But here I was going to the senior prom, and everybody used to say, why? Why Siggy? Why Siggy? And they used to come to me, and I used to say, listen, my mother raised me with a few rules. If a man doesn't call you on Wednesday, he's not going to see you on Saturday. You have to understand, a man should love a woman a little bit more. Men are hunters by nature. They don't want you to make it easy on them. If you make it easy on them, the challenge is over. So I always held myself together like a lady, and I had this inner confidence that portrayed, and relationships were always a great thing for me.
You know, as I'm listening to you right now, and my wife, Jen, and I watch you and your colleagues on Real Housewives of New Jersey, I'm sitting there going, why can't we get more of Siggy on the show doing what she's doing right now instead of these ridiculous, counterproductive arguments that go nowhere?
Yeah. Well, that's the nature of the beast. And what it is that people thrive on that. Because a lot of people watch TV, and basically they watch TV because they say, hey, my life is not that bad. Look what these people are doing. And, you know, but for...
My life's not that bad, so I'm okay.
Yeah, so I'm okay. But for me, it was all about absolutely not. I could show them that I've struggled. I waited tables to put myself through college. I was a nanny in Manhattan on Fifth Avenue to a family, Pamela and Tony Rykowski. And for me, it was always like, believe in yourself. Nobody promised us life was going to be a box of chocolates. Don't complain. You've got your health. Keep moving forward. Anything that you threw my way, and trust me, I've been punched in the face a few times. But I always found myself, it's not the end of the world. How is it that I'm going to deal with this situation? What are my options? What are my choices? Push forward.
Well, respectfully, Siggy, you know what that show is.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there criticizing it, but I'm not missing an episode. Here's the thing. You're not around a lot of other folks, not all, by the way. Some I like more than others.
Yeah.
But there are some who really go out of their way to cause drama because they thrive on it. And you knew that going in. And what did you say to yourself in terms of, hey, is this a healthy environment for me, particularly given what you do professionally?
I thought about all that, but then I thought about this. It's not a healthy environment. For years, I wouldn't even, I wouldn't even entertain.
Did you know the show well?
I did know. I didn't watch the show, but I knew the show well.
And you knew Jacqueline?
I knew Jacqueline. But here's how it all started for me. I had a show on VH1. It was called Why Are You Still Single? And it was beautiful. There was one problem. There were no implants being thrown. There were no punches being thrown. So the show was a good show, and it only made it one season. And from there, I got that chutzpah in me, and I said, you're just not going to throw me to the side. And because of Wendy Williams and Dr. Phil and Dr. Drew.
Because they had you on a lot.
They had me on the Today Show, Good Morning America. For the next 3 years of my life, they kept me relevant. From Fox to CNN to Joy Behar.
Everybody had you on.
Everybody. I come up, hair and makeup ready. I've got the and I'm an open book. I will talk about everything from divorce to breastfeeding my kids. Nothing is off limits to me because my thing is if I could help one person out there, I don't like people who don't share. What's the point of saying, I don't want to tell you where I got this or how I know this because I want to keep it to myself.
You started with, the first time we meet you on the show, by the way, Google this. There's got the facelift, you got the bandages. I'm going, who is this? And I go, that's Siggy?
Yes.
That's the Siggy who's so smart giving out relationship advice? Yes. That was not by accident.
But it was brilliant, and here's why. When you see me on these talk shows, I'm like this. Yes, and I'm answering all these questions.
You're the expert.
But on Housewives, it raised my platform to such a tremendous level that I'm able to get to people in Finland and Sweden and Austria. All over the world, people are purchasing that book. And that book is saving lives. So here I am.
Mind if I plug again?
Yes, it's just my
Write Your
Bible.
Own Fairytale, the new rules for dating relationships and finding love on your own terms. The show has helped you help more people?
The show, first of all, there's no platform like Housewives. My book is selling off the shelves.
Yeah.
My book is it's flying through the roof, and people are actually calling me, and this is all. Siggy, your book saved my marriage. Siggy, I love your advice of know your worth. I'll walk through the mall, somebody will say, a man's rejection is God's protection. Siggy Flicker, thank you.
Whoa. I'm not letting you get past that, Siggy.
Sorry.
A
man's
man's
rejection is God's protection.
Explain that.
A lot of people get rejected. And when they get rejected, they go into their homes, they hide underneath their covers, and they eat a box of Twinkies. I say no. Rejection is protection. You're going to find out that there's a lesson learned with being rejected. You might find out that the person you're dating never wanted to have kids. Maybe the person that you're dating was into men or women. There's a reason why you got rejected, but don't let that person stop you from moving forward. Rejection is protection. Life is not perfect. We fall flat on our face. We have to learn from our lessons, get right back up and push forward.
How is it that your first husband served as, if I get this wrong, you'll tell me.
Best man.
Siggy, he was the best man at your wedding to your husband right now, who seems awfully terrific on the show.
I love Michael, but I love Mark too. So I was married to Mark Flicker, just a great guy. I love saying last names. I don't know why I do that, but we had a beautiful life. We lived in Boca Raton, Florida. And when Mark first met me, I was always full of life and complimenting people and talking to people. And Mark kind of always wished that I would calm down a little bit. My tagline is, some people think I'm too much, and they're absolutely right. For Mark Flicker, I was too much. He wanted me more to be like a Stepford wife, quiet, reserved. My energy, for some reason, I would get a lot of eye rolling and shh. And for me, I tried to be quiet and calm, but I found myself resenting him for it and thinking to myself, this is not a way to live life. Because I teach people in the book, you have to live your authentic self. Eventually, someone's going to discover who you are. So why not start right out of the box? Be who you are. If they don't like you for who you are, let the door hit their tushy on their way out. So I approached him and I said, Mark, listen, I love you as a person, but obviously we're growing apart. Let's try to do this without an attorney and move forward. And he's such a class act. We did it. We moved forward, and he allowed me with 2 children. And he's such a great parent that I found the love of my life, Michael Campanella. I always say last names. But I wanted to move back to Jersey and be with my family.
And your ex found someone.
Yes.
And I watched the scene where you were having dinner together.
Yes.
And you could not have been friendlier and warmer to his wife.
She's the classiest girl. She's quiet, she's calm.
Did you get them together?
No, I didn't get Mark and Twee together, but I matched Mark with several women when I was a matchmaker, and they all were crazy about him. They're like, Siggy, he's the most handsome. He's a great guy. It's just that it's all about chemistry.
Yeah.
Certain people's chemistry don't work.
And he was the best man at your wedding?
Yes, because of Mark Flicker, I was able to move the kids from Florida back to New Jersey, and the biggest thing is that he closed up his business and moved it to New York City.
Wow.
I mean, I was not going to leave my kid's father in Florida.
I can't let you go without doing this. Your kids, your son and your daughter, seem like just wonderful children.
Yeah.
But I have to ask you this. You, on the show, constantly are asking them to put down their
phones,
and
yes.
We do the same thing in our home. We have a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, a 6-year-old, and my big boy is 24 from my first marriage. You want to connect with them so deeply. How much has this show impacted and improved your relationship with your kids?
Amazing. The show has been nothing but great for my family, especially my relationship with my parents. But with my kids...
Who said they wanted more from you?
Yes.
Time with you.
But it made me realize, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing that my mother wants, more time with me, and I really want more time with them. But what you didn't see is my son Joshua has a 4.2 GPA. He's brilliant.
Out of 4.
Out of 4. That's extra credit and honor
That's right.
classes. He goes by the book. So when he's on his phone, it doesn't bother me because he gives me the time. Sophie's a mini Siggy. She's ADHD. She can't concentrate on Insta, Finsta, Snapchatting, and getting her homework done. I take her phone away for a few hours every day after school. Her grades went up. Education in my house is the most important thing. You're not getting the grades? To love your children is to say no. That's how I raise my kids.
You gonna stay on the series, Housewives?
I'm not sure yet. We're just wrapping up right now. Yeah. But I have to tell you, I'm honored and grateful. I would do it all over again, and I wouldn't change anything that I did.
You're one of my favorite housewives. My wife's, she loves you too, but who's my wife love? Who does she?
Dolores.
Dolores. She's great.
Dolores is my best friend. And a real girl from the streets of Patterson. And she's a proud Jersey girl. And when I said to Dolores, I said, Dolores, enough with this Jersey stuff. We're gonna make Jersey great again. We're going to make Jersey proud of the show. And I believe that we did it.
So you keep doing what you're doing, help a lot of people. And you don't mind? Write your own fairy tale, because that's what Siggy's doing every day. Thank you for helping a lot of people and joining us at NJ
Thank you
Pack.
so much for having me.
All right, all the best.
Thank you.
We'll be, no, we're not going to be back. This is the end of the show. I just got so caught up.
Yeah.
See you next time. You're terrific.
The preceding program has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation and the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in association with NJTV and WNET. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJ Pack has been provided by TD Bank, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, NJIT, Josh S. Weston, the Fidelco Group, RWJ Barnabas Health, and by Verizon. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Hi, I'm Eric. You might see me as an ordinary person, but I've been living with a brain injury for nearly 2 years. One of my struggles is short-term memory loss. At Opportunity Project, I'm given hope and support, and I've gained my comments back through the job placement program. Despite my challenges, I have a reason to keep improving. Today, even though life has changed me, I believe that anything is possible.
If you have a brain injury, you don't have to face your road to recovery alone.